Hi, I'm Winston. I'm Academic Director for the Medical Education suite of programs here at Institute of Continuing Education. So the Medical Education pathway is altogether a 3-year part-time program, but each year is separate. The first year is a postgraduate certificate in medical education. Upon graduation of that, one may or may not choose to progress on to the postgraduate diploma for the second year, and then post the Masters of Studies, the MST in Medical Education for the third year. So ideal candidates are really interested in education, right? In medical education, allied health professions education. They are practitioners typically of medicine, nursing, veterinary sciences, dentists, and they must be doing some teaching during the course of the year, because we require them to use their teaching experience as part of the course. So the admissions process, well, basically you submit your application in good time, demonstrate how keen you are about education with people who are serious and want to teach. You will have some teaching lined up for during the year because we build on your teaching, and you should have you already have some level of qualification in your clinical practice. So for each of the courses, essentially there are a series of in-person days or online days. So if we take the postgraduate certificate, for example, you'll do 2 days in person during the Christmas term. You'll do a couple of days remotely during the Lent term, and then you'll have a couple more days in person during the Easter term. And that pattern is similar for all of them. So it's 2 consecutive days where everyone is in a room. It's very discursive, there's lots of chatter, we draw on your experience, it's very interactive. And there's also a virtual learning environment where people contribute throughout. There's discussion forums and those kinds of things, and assignments, of course. So the modules are named as such. The key components are those terms, and so for example, the PG Cert has a written assignment at the end of the first term and a longer written assignment at the end of the third term, with formative assignments in between. So key components, there's general parts about theory of education and teaching, but there's also clinical bedside stuff, there's small group teaching, there's large group teaching, there's a lot of focus on reflective practice and your own development as an educator in those pathways. And that kind of persists. The postgraduate diploma continues that, exploring curricula, exploring approaches to teaching, deepening your understanding of theory. The final year, the Masters, is a research project of your own design, based in your own education practice. The course itself doesn't channel you into any specific specialisation. The way it works is you bring your experience, and the assignments and assessments and all the discussions and activities are designed such that you draw on your own specialisation, your own area. And so if you're doing a research project, for example, for the Masters, it will be about your specific area of teaching. If you're an endocrinologist, it might be related to your endocrinology teaching. If you're a palliative care nurse, it will be related to that. If you're a paramedic, you'll find some way to relate it to the education of other paramedics, those kind of things. So the tutors involved have quite a wide range, ranging from very experienced educators, people with, so myself, I have an education background, my PhD is in medical education. We have the course director of the postgraduate diploma, is an extremely experienced educator, initially from speech and language therapy, actually, that she's published and run all sorts of stuff. And we also have people who are clinicians, so the director of the postgraduate certificate is a practicing clinician from the Adam Brooks Clinical School. But we also have all sorts of tutors on the program, most of whom are graduates of the program itself. So we kind of provide opportunities for graduates of our own courses to help nurture and guide people who are coming in through the program. The pathway offers, networking tends to be a key component. There's a lot of group work, there's a lot of interactive discussion. I think most students come out of it saying one of the key things they got was the networking and the working with others. Not only people in their own discipline, but people across disciplines, across fields, across professions even. What do they go on to do? Many just continue on the path they were on. They're already interested in teaching. They continue to be teaching in some clinical or medical school or a veterinary school. Others go on to lead programs, become course directors, design curriculum in their own areas, in their own hospitals, in their own universities. So I think there's a lot of, we haven't had anyone say they didn't make good use of it. I think it's all about building community. We spend a lot of time talking about communities of practice and building a community with lots of sharing of ideas, working together. So, for example, at the beginning of, the sessions are 2-day sessions typically. At the beginning of the first day, we'll take from everyone what are they hoping to get from the next couple of days. We'll maybe given you some pre-reading and you'll have some idea of the kind of areas we're planning to cover in these couple of days. And then we'll get a list of the things people hope to cover, their learning outcomes they want for themselves. We'll note them, and at the end of each day and the beginning of the next day, we'll say, okay, how far have we covered these? How far have we not covered these? So it's very much a build the class together kind of thing. Many other courses don't include the in-person days. I think there's that. There's the real expertise of both the tutors and the participants. They're all ranging from very experienced to quite inexperienced. Sometimes in a class you have a consultant and junior doctors and nurses, and it's flat. The hierarchy is gone within the classroom. The institute itself, it's all about lifelong learning. It's a beautiful place to be. When we have our sessions here, then it's lovely. All 3 of the courses that are part of the pathway are designed to work around people's careers. That's the idea of the 2 days studying together and the rest being study at your own pace and in your own time. So we're very aware, certainly in the current climate, how busy everybody is. And there's some flexibility in how and when you do your work. And most of our students are delighted to have a couple of clear days where they switch off everything else, come and talk education. It's a joy, really. If you're really enthusiastic about medical education and you want to become part of a community that shares that enthusiasm, come join us. We welcome all sorts of backgrounds. We look forward to having conversations with everybody. It's fun.